Hello guys, this is Maria from So Crafty Studio, and today what I want to share with you is some polymer clay tips and tricks for beginners and not so beginners. So let's get started. Number one piece of advice that I can give to you today is to always condition your clay. It is really important that you condition every single piece of clay prior working with it, because you need it to be really soft and have a smooth texture. So I know sometimes our clay is really soft and we actually don't feel that it needs to be conditioned at all. But that piece of clay that it's not been conditioned prior baking, it's going to probably crackle in the oven. So if you don't want that, all you need to do is to condition it between your fingers using the heat of your hands to make it smooth and soft and perfect to work with. And one way to know that your clay is actually perfect to work with is when you can separate it into pieces by stretching it. Now, next tip. Do I mix different brands of clay when I'm working? Yes, I do mix different brands of clay. I know a lot of people do not recommend this, but I've been doing it for about, 10 years, and I have had no problems at all. So what I did was tested a lot of different temperatures, a lot of different times of baking, and I got to the conclusion that the best for every single clay is 250 degrees for no more than 30 minutes. That's 250 Fahrenheit would be like 120 Celsius. So you can give it a try, or you can actually make your own test at home, trying out your oven, trying out your clays, and find out the best temperature to work with. But I haven't had no problems at all mixing them. Okay, my next tip is something really important. You can always fix your hard or soft clay. Never throw away your clay. You can always fix it. First, I want to show you how to fix a piece of clay that is actually too soft. So all you need to do is to flatten it as much as you can with any rolling tool, and after you have a very thin piece, you're going to place it on a piece of paper. That piece of paper has to be white, clear, no printing, no color, nothing has to be on the paper. Then you're going to fold that piece of paper and you're going to create your little paper clay sandwich, and you're going to roll it all over again just to make sure that the piece of clay is really flat and it's attached, it's stick to both parts of the paper. You're going to need to put some weight on it and leave it rest for 2 hours. After that, you're going to open your paper sandwich and see how the paper absorbed a lot of the oil from the clay. That's exactly what we wanted. It's going to be a little tricky to remove the clay from the paper, but once you've done that, all you need to do is to start conditioning it between your fingers and check if the consistency is the one that you're looking for. Now it's time to deal with the hard clay, which is basically one of the most frustrating things to deal with when you're a polymer clay artist. All you need to do is to separate your pieces of hard clay, and you will probably want to chop them as small as you can. And now it comes the baby oil, which is one of my favorite products to use to soften clay. All you need to do is to add a couple of drops to your chopped pieces of clay and start mixing using a tool and pressing a lot just to help the clay to absorb the oil, and this is what it's going to make it softer. So after a lot of mixing and conditioning, you're going to have a smooth, perfect to work with, soft piece of clay. So next tip is going to be about attaching different pieces of clay. I like doing that before putting them into the oven. So I'm going to glue 2 different pieces of unbaked clay and show you how to do it. And for this little test, I am going to use my 2 favorite products for this purpose, which are Fimo Liquid and Translucent Liquid Sculpey. And it actually doesn't matter, there's no big difference between these 2 products. They are just like glue to bond 2 pieces of clay. My next tip is about your work surface, and I think I can't say this enough, but please never, never, never use paper as a work surface. I know some people don't like their desk to be scratched or tinted with the clay colors, but paper is not a solution. Paper is not clay friendly. The clay will not attach to the paper and it's going to make your work really hard. Second, when you apply a lot of pressure and you actually make your clay to be stick to the paper and then you remove it, you're going to see how the paper absorbs some of the oil from the clay. And what happens here is that once your clay starts losing the oil, it's going to get harder and harder and harder every time. So you don't want that. You don't want your clay to be dry out just because you work on paper. See how the oil comes out from the clay, and actually this piece of clay has some glitter and you can see it on the paper. Next tip is a really important one. Oven thermometers. They are a must for every single polymer clay artist. Never trust in the temperature indicator of your oven. Never, because for some reason they're never right. You need an oven thermometer to be sure that your pieces of clay are being baked on the right temperature. Last tip is about varnishing. Never ever use nail polish to varnish your pieces of clay. That will ruin your pieces. Trust me, ruin them. They contain some solvent that doesn't react really well with clay, so what I recommend to varnish your pieces is polyurethane. This is the one I use. This is Varathane. It's really affordable, super easy to work with, and has no odor, so I love it. And since I didn't want to be opening and closing my can every single time that I was going to varnish something, I transferred some to a small bottle that I can refill every time. And depending on how shiny you want your pieces to be, you can add probably 1, 2, or actually 3 coats of the product. See how shiny this little unicorn is? It's perfect. I totally recommend it. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching my tips and tricks video. I hope you found it helpful. Please like, subscribe, and also follow me on social media at So Crafty Studio. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.